Talk about wanting to become a snake breeder, we talk a lot about what we want to buy, what species we want to buy, how to keep them, do we breed our own rodents, all this type of stuff, right? One thing I think that gets overlooked all the time is expectation and our human psychology and behavior in it. My name's Aaron, I'm with Reptile Enterprises. Let's get right into this video. So when we talk about snake breeding, we always want to talk about the coolest morphs to breed, species, what the market's like, all these different things. However, I think one of the key things we talk about is our expectations, or what we don't talk about enough is our expectations. And I say that because I've seen a lot of new breeders come in and out over the years, and I think part of their success is due to because what their expectations were, they tailored it to that, their experience, as well as they might have failed because they expected too much. To be honest, if you're gonna come into ball python breeding and spend $1,000, you can't expect to make $10,000 out of that, especially in the next 8 months, right? You're not gonna buy adults for $500 a piece and make $10,000 worth of it. You can do okay, and they're absolutely lucky clutches, but they're the exception, not the rule. If it happened all the time, it would just be the rule, and that's not the case. We all know it, but it's not talked about enough that expectation ruins breeders almost as much as anything else. Bad odds are bad odds, but the expectation that everything was going to go well every year, all your females are going to breed, they're all going to lay great clutches, and then you're going to get fantastic odds and everything's going to sell super fast. That's not common, and that is something I see from a lot of breeders. You can hit some new breeder luck, and that is totally okay, and you have a great time. I'm happy for you. I want to see more people have success because more breeders out there mean there's also more business, right? More people, there's more of a groundswell of, I can't remember the term, but it's like more community-based, trying to bring people up from the bottom, more organic growth, so to speak. But you can't get there without expectations, right? So if you expect to spend $100 on a female and $200 on a male, you can't expect to make 10 grand. It's not gonna happen. If you want to do it, there's a few different ways to be successful in this business, right? When you can bring money to the table and just buy in, and that's fine. Doesn't mean you're gonna grant it huge success because people have come and gone doing that. You can, on the opposite side is, you can just invest time. So maybe you buy those low-end animals and then you make a clutch and you sell all of them to save up to buy one better animal, right? A male to breed to your $200 female. And you start snowballing slowly. It takes years, but you can do that, and that's the time investment, right? You just have to keep making jumps, right? And that's the only way to do it sometimes, and that's okay. That's okay. Enjoy the journey, enjoy the adventure. I think too many people jump in trying to make money within the first 6 months, and I think they get burned out, to be honest. I think there's a bit of burnout. But that kind of rats a little off topic. I just want people to believe expectations, set your expectations correct, and you'll have a much better time in this industry and with your animals. It's totally okay to buy $1,000 worth of animals and breed them for the first time or anything like that, but just set your expectations. If you don't, I think you're just in for a world of hurt and a world of disappointment, and it would suck for someone to have that kind of experience and leave on that sour note instead of leaving with their head held high and in a position that they felt that they could do it on their choice instead of just having bad expectations and bad expectations in the market. You know, and that's another thing we can talk about expectation. Realize, unless you have very specific mutations, and this is specific to the ball python game, even other species this kind of counts for, right? Other species work a little differently. They're just not the same marketplace. People think they're cool for other species, but it doesn't mean everyone's buying every second. Generally speaking, you have a longer sales process. Some things sell quick, but for the most part, you're sitting on animals for a few weeks or a few months, and that's totally healthy and totally okay. So you may not be making your money right out of the gate. That is also why I go back to the expectation thing is when you expect things and to make easy money, I hope you don't have stuff on loan or you don't need to sell those animals to feed your collection because it may not come, and then you're in a bit of a bind. And again, I want people to be successful, and you can't do that without having the right mentality going into it. And I think we just don't talk about it enough. So, with that said, I think I'm gonna end it there. I've kind of ranted enough at you, and hope you enjoyed the video. And don't forget to set your expectations for your breeding seasons. If you have any questions, leave a comment.